there. This is Vic, a storyteller. Wow, this chapter is a big one. It's a really big one. Wow, I don't know even where to start. So, chapter today is called Ultimate. It's One Piece, chapter 957. There is no cover story this week. So, yeah, there's a big colored spread of the Straw Hats being on board a dark speedboat where they are racing a turtle. It's good to notice that the one on the steering wheel is Sanji. If Jinbe was in this color spread, he will be probably the one on the helm. So it makes sense since Sanji is known for speed, so he would have better control for the speedboat that they are sailing on. It seems they are racing turtles. It's just a normal color spread, and I love it. Uh, so it's also good to notice that Frankie's hair is long. Its style is similar to the one that Scopa has, the one from Roger Pirates. It's a pretty cool hairstyle. Also, Douglas Bullet seems to have had such hair, so it's awesome. I would like to see Frankie with such hair more often. Moving on, the chapter starts in the new Marineford headquarters in the New World. Akainu is congratulating Fujitora on the abolishment of the warlord system. Fujitora introduces the power that is to replace the warlords as the SSG. It's an interesting name when you think about it. I think maybe it stands for Special Scientific Guard or 7 Special Guard. I don't know, something along those lines. We'll have to wait and see what it's really called, but I'm very hyped to see what this new scientific group can do. Uh, Fujitora seems to be injured. I don't know if he has a bandage on his head and a small one on his left cheek. So the battle that he was in with Sabo or the other commanders must have been pretty intense. Yeah, and it's bad that Oda skipped it, but it's normal. There's nothing we can do. Akainu informs Fujitora that Big Mom and Akainu have, and Kaido have formed an alliance. And Fujitora seems to know about the Rocks pirates since he answered straight up. Has the Rocks pirates returned? So it makes sense since Fujitora he's not a young man, so he should know about the Rock pirates. He probably was pretty young back then, and 38 years ago, yeah, he was young. He should, but not very young that he couldn't understand. Sorry, I have a cold, so you'll have to excuse my voice. Uh, we cut, after that, we cut to brand new, the guy who gives us bounty updates regularly. Uh, he's talking to the Marines, and Sengoku, the Buddha, is there, and he's telling them that they have no information on the Rocks pirates. And luckily, Sengoku, the info guy, is there, and he starts giving them the lowdown on what happened. According to Sengoku, the rock pirates were formed in Pirate Island, Beehive, the current location of the Yonko Blackbeard. The members were Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. They were young back then, and they were led by their captain, who was called Rocks. We come to know later that the full name of Rock is Rock D. Zebek. I think that's how it's pronounced, Zebek, which makes perfect sense that a leader of these monsters is a D. And since we come to find that in the One Piece world, the D seem to have a charisma that makes people follow them. The only one we haven't seen with such levels of charisma is maybe Law, but Law is a special case. Uh, it's good to know that Blackbeard sheep is named the saber of Quebec. It was revealed in the Viva cards. I don't know for which month. So is there a connection between Blackbeard and the Captain Rocks? Or I think maybe Blackbeard maybe inherited Rock's will, just like Luffy inherited Roger's will. It's something to think about. Other members of Rocks include the Gold Lion Shiki, Silver Axe, Captain John, and Ochoku. Uh, two of these names are new, at least to me. I think they have not been mentioned anywhere in the story before. That Silver Axe and Ochoku, we have never heard their names before ever. Uh, Rock's goal was to become the king of the world. That was Sengoku says, and that to have a title like that, to work towards a goal like that, it's obvious that he will be in direct opposition to the world government. Sengoku describes the Rock's pirates as terrorists and the government seems to have covered up their actions for some reason. We don't know yet. Uh, the Rock Pirates, they are described to be the strongest pirate crew, which is good to notice because some of these titles we have seen, they're like Mihawks, the strongest swordsman in the world, Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, Kaido, the strongest creature in the world. So it seems to me that the Rock Pirates were described to be the strongest pirate crew, which makes perfect sense since they have two people in their crew who have the strongest title in their epithets. So it seems that pirate crew, the Rocks Pirates, met their end in a pirate island called the Gold Valley 38 years ago. They were defeated by Gap, working in an alliance with Roger, Gold Roger. That's how Gap came to be known as the hero of the Marines. It seems both Gap and Roger protected the Celestial Dragons from the Rock Pirates, which is weird since both Roger and Gap, they are from the D clan, which are mostly, we come to find in the story, it's explained they are the direct opposite, the direct enemies of the Celestial Dragons, who are claimed to be the gods of the One Piece world. This incident was called the God Valley Incident, and the island seems to have been removed from all historical records by the world government. There must have been something very important there, or important information, which is in the One Piece world is named taboo for some reason. Just like there was important information in O'Hara, that's why it was probably erased. So there's a likelihood in future arcs the Straw Hats will find God Valley. It's a possibility, or we might see it in some way in a flashback somewhere relating to someone, maybe Shanks, or even Kaido himself and Big Mom. I hope they do show it in uh, the future. Also, Sengoku claims that the Captain Rocks was the first and most formidable rival of God Roger. Also, it's good to know that Rock's other name, which is pronounced as Zebek, and Blackbeard's laugh, which is the ha 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 ha, are kind of a match. So is Oda trying to say something? I mean, look at Blackbeard's laugh. It starts with Zebek, the ha ha ha, and his other connection with the sheep called the Saba of Zebek. And Blackbeard's hairstyle, the way he looks right now, it looks similar to that Rock's captain. So it will not be surprising if Blackbeard based his will or his whole motivation comes from knowing about uh, Rock's dizzy back. Uh, yeah, so it seems brand new was updating the warlord's bounties, which is expected. So in the next few chapters, before we go back to Act 3 in Wano, we might be able to see some some revelation on the warlords like Mihawk, Boa, Buggy, and Weevil. So I'm stoked to see the new bounties. I hope they reflect how the Marines view them, their proper strength, so we can scale them properly, maybe in a discussion video. Uh, yeah, we'll see. Based on the photo of the Rocks Pirates, it seems Whitebeard and Big Mom, based on their positions, where they are placed besides Rocks, it seems they might have been commanders at the time in his ship. And it's pretty dope to see. And now, as if the chapter wasn't crazy enough, Oda goes ahead and reveals the bounties of all current and former Yonkos and even the Pirate King legends like Whitebeard and Gold Roger. And it's pretty crazy. We already knew Blackbeard's bounty, which seems to be the lowest among the four, which makes perfect sense since he became a Yonko like 1 year before the current timeline, the current date we are on. And we learned that Shanks was recognized as a Yonko 6 years ago, which means he became a Yonko when he had lost his arm when he saved Luffy, which is mind blowing. I mean, becoming a Yonko when you have lost your dominant sword hand, it means Shanks has other abilities that he may have acquired that maybe pushed him to that status. And Shanks' bounty is revealed to be 4,048,900,000 berries. Uh, Brand New says Shanks' crew is a well-balanced crew, which makes sense since Luffy based his crew on Shanks. So it makes sense for them to be well-balanced and not so different like Big Moms and Kaido, where the power status or power levels are so different. Like the power level between Big Mom and and Katakuri, it's a big one, and also between Kin and Kaido, we don't know Kin's abilities, but it'll probably differ greatly from Kaido's. There will be a huge power gap, and we come to know that uh, the main top guys in Red-Haired Shanks, they have huge bounties, and the way they have been arranged, the way he has named them, it seems Ben Beckman is the first Yonko commander in Shanks' crew. Lakiru is probably the second, and Yasop is the third Yonko commander. And the fact that Yasop is the third Yonko commander means Usopp in the Straw Hats crew, he has to work really hard to be able to surpass his father. And I'm so hyped to see what Usopp will do in the future to be able to crush the commander threshold that has been placed in this chapter. Also, we come to know Big Mom's bounty is 4,388,000,000 berries, like 300 million more than Shank's bounty, and it's the second highest bounty of all current Yonkos right now. And we also come to know Kaido's bounty, which is 4,611,100,000 berries, which is crazy, but it makes sense since Kaido seems to be a savage, so it makes perfect sense for him to have the highest bounty based on his title as the strongest creature and also the savagery of he himself and also of his crew. Then we find out the legend Whitebeard. His bounty was over 5 billion. In the exact terms, it's 5 billion, 46 million berries. And Rogers, the Pirate King bounty was 5 billion, 564 million berries, which is 500 million more than Whitebeard. So, yeah, it's crazy, but it makes sense when you look at the status that these two are in. They are in a completely different league from the other Yonkos. Even how their names are revered, it's you can tell that they were just in another level. Brani also adds that no pirate has ever surpassed the bounties of Roger and Whitebeard. Even the Rocks pirate, he never reached the 5 bill mark, which is very interesting. So this is a new goal for Luffy to surpass. He has to surpass so many things, even the pirate bounties. So I'm stoked to see Luffy end story, how big his bounty will be. Also, I expect Dragon, since his title is the most wanted man in the world, his bounty has to be higher than, has to be the highest ever in the story, has to be higher than Rogers. So I'm stoked to see that. And also Mihawk's bounty. Based on Shanks' bounty, I expect Mihawk's bounty to be either in the late 2 billion berries or in the early 3 billion berries. It wouldn't make sense if it was in the 1 billion like Luffy is now. It's the world's strongest swordsman, so his bounty has to be in the early 3 billions or the late 2 billion mark. Also, it seems that since Big Bam and Kaido are in alliance, they are expected to have a combined bounty of 8 billion 999,100,000 berries. So it will be crazy how the world will react to this news. Akainu says they don't have the resources to go to Wano, which we knew from the specifics in last chapter. We also get more information on Kozuki Oden. It seems he might have been the second division commander in Whitebeard's ship, since it was a position that was always missing. Since we find out that he was a commander in Whitebeard's ship, and he was poached by Roger when he was heading to Raftel for his final voyage. So yeah, it's pretty good to know some backstory to Odin. We need to see his entire full backstory. Maybe it has to be in Act 3, the early chapters of Act 3. So I'm stoked to witness his greatness. Also, Sengoku has figured it out that Odin and Wano seems to be very important, since every Yonko has been there one at one time in the many years that I've been there. Both Big Mom and Kaido, they are there right now. Whitebeard was there a long time ago. Roger was there. Shanks was there, and those three, they favored Kozuki Oden. So the way Sengoku is telling Akainu, it seems Akainu may send Marines to gather more information on why Wano is so important to such big names. So I expect this is how X Drake will join the alliance, since I think this is how he'll join the alliance. You go maybe try to find more information on Oden and Luffy and Law. They are the perfect people since they're already in position to Kaido. So you'll join the alliance as a ruse to gain more information. So the trick will be, will he give this information to the world government, or will he keep it to himself when he realizes maybe how dangerous it may be? Maybe in order to protect the citizens there. So I'm stoked to see what might happen. Maybe you can give your thoughts on the comments on what you think will happen. So it's a crazy chapter today, and I don't know. These last three chapters, it's been a crazy ride. So I'm stoked to see how chapter 958 will be. There have been no breaks for the last three chapters, and they have all been fire. They have all been hype. It's fucking crazy, man. Sorry for the language. Anyway, that's the end of the chapter, and I hope you'll be here next week. Share and subscribe. See you next week. Thank you.